Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another weekend watch list. Today, we're going to discuss stocks, cryptocurrencies, commodities, and indexes, as well as explore what has happened in the market and the outlook to come. Let's dive into it. US stocks wrapped up the week on a high note, with all three major indexes making gains. The tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite Index led the way, rising by 2%, marking its best day since May. The S&P 500 Index and Dow Jones Industrial Average also experienced gains of over 1%. Stocks rebounded on Friday after a brief dip on Thursday, where the S&P 500 broke a winning streak following a lackluster Treasury auction and a cautionary statement from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell regarding uncertainties in overcoming inflation. Federal Reserve President Mary Daly from San Francisco expressed on Friday that she isn't certain the central bank has raised interest rates sufficiently to bring inflation back down to the 2% target. Currently, she mentioned that Fed policy is in a very good place, ready to react to the evolving economy. Daly emphasized the importance of the Fed being in a ready position, prepared to either raise interest rates further or halt monetary tightening based on economic data. In other news, U.S. consumer sentiment slipped in November, exceeding expectations and marking the fourth consecutive month of decline. Concerns deepened over the impact of higher interest rates on household incomes, coupled with heightened geopolitical tensions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a beautiful week it has been for stocks. AMD gained 5.65%, BAC decreased by 2.60%, Amazon rose by 3.58%, Nvidia surged by 7.40%, Netflix showed a gain of 3.44%, Microsoft increased by 4.78%, and Apple saw a rise of 5.52% for the week. On the downside, both the XLE and XLRE sectors were down this week, and even the XLV sector didn't perform well. The exception was Eli Lilly and Company, LLY, which was up 5.27%. Semiconductor stocks ended the week sharply higher as interest rates settled down, drawing investors back into tech stocks. On Friday, shares of Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM, Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, and Broadcom, AVGO, rose by 6.3%, 4.5%, and 5.1%, respectively. In contrast, Plug Power stock, Plug US, plunged by over 40% on Friday. The upstart hydrogen producer and fuel cell maker issued a warning, stating that it may struggle to stay afloat in the next year without raising additional cash. Beware. Yield curve inversions have a remarkable history of accurately predicting recessions. The current inversion has reached levels comparable to 1928, the year just before the Great Depression. Remember, there's often a lag between inversions and recessions. However, yield curve steepening from inverted levels brings the economy closer to a recession. This is precisely where the U.S. economy is in the cycle. A special shout out to the Game of Trades for providing such valuable information. I'm thrilled to share my earnings play with you. For this week, I've opted for a cautious approach, choosing to sit out most earnings plays. Nonetheless, a couple of key opportunities have piqued my interest. On Wednesday, just before the market opens, I'll be closely monitoring Target, TGT, and JD.com, JD. These companies have exhibited intriguing trends, and I'm eager to observe how their earnings reports might influence their stock prices. Shifting our focus to Thursday, once again before the market opens, all eyes will be on Alibaba, BABA. The dynamics surrounding Alibaba, especially in the current economic climate, make it a fascinating player to watch. I'm keen to analyze their performance and the subsequent market reactions. All right, let's do some charts and what's expectation for the market this week? Ahead, we begin with SPY 4 hours charts. What's gonna on here? If the price can break the trend line, that's going to be another win for bulls, and I will expect next target 444.97, and the next profit target is 451.22 for this week. And this is the bullish scenario, but for the bearish scenario, I will expect price get decline from the trend line and downside. Target is 437, and the next target is 430 for filing the gap from last week. Now let's shift our attention to the QQQ 4-hour chart. We witnessed a significant impulsive move that left 4 gaps in the past 2 weeks. Personally, I believe the market needs a small pullback. In this scenario, my downside target is set at 371.32. However, if the bulls step in, there's potential for a market rally back to 380.76. Now let's turn our attention to the IWM 4-hour chart. After a substantial rally, small caps faced a decline at the major resistance level of 176.07, pulling back to the support line at 167.30. I anticipate more choppy movements for IWM until the price breaks the trend line, signaling potential upside. However, in the downside scenario, if the price falls below 167.30, I would expect a move towards 162.59, filling the gap along the way. Let's now focus on my favorite stock, NVDA, with its 4-hour chart. The non-stop rally in this stock has left everyone in awe. After a significant impulsive move, we've finally broken the trend line. For this week, I'm anticipating a pullback, especially after Wednesday. My downside target to watch is 458.94. Considering that this week is the third week of the month and Friday is option expiry day, it adds an interesting dynamic. However, if the price continues to move higher, my next targets for the upside are 489.67 and 500.35. Now let's analyze the Tesla, TSLA 4-hour chart. Tesla closed the week at 214.70. Our attention is focused on the critical level of 215.20, and we are patiently waiting to observe its behavior before making any decisions on Tesla. If the price convincingly breaks above 215.20 with strength, our strategy involves taking profit at last week's resistance level, approximately around 223.65. On the other hand, if the price rejects the 215.20 level, our plan is to take profit at last week's lows of 205.70. Now let's see what has happened to the AMD. AMD closed the week at 118.59. Our strategy is straightforward. If AMD successfully closes above 119.35, we plan to take profit at the next previous high, located around 121.75. However, if the price breaks below 118.35, our approach is to set take-profit levels at 115.25. This level is significant, representing an area likely to be retested after such a substantial breakout. Now let's focus on Disney, DIS. DIS closed the week at 88.27. Our anticipation is for the price to retest the 87.60 area, and we're carefully observing how it behaves at this level. If the price bounces at this level, our plan is to take profit at 90.10. On the other hand, if the price breaks below 87.60 and the bears take control, our strategy is to take profit at 85.85. This level served as a resistance in the past. Now let's take a look at the 4-hour chart for Apple. Wow, Apple has seen an impressive streak of 23 consecutive green days. While we might anticipate a couple of small red days, I'm looking for a potential decline to around 187.02. The next support level to watch would be at 182.45. However, should the price manage to break above 187.02, my next target for the upside will be 190.54. Next chart, 4-hour chart for Microsoft. Microsoft concluded the week at new all-time highs, showcasing an impressive performance with shares up by 54% in 2023. Currently, there is no clear upside target in sight. However, for the downside, we might look for the next support level at 357.47. All right, let's take a look at what's happening in the oil and commodities sector, focusing on the 4-hour chart for oil. After a significant sell-off, the energy sector has finally slowed down, and the oil price is holding above the major support at 74.97. The upside target is set at 79.93. However, if the price breaks below the trend line, we might anticipate more downside for oil and the XLE sector. In such a scenario, the downside targets would be 72.54 and 70.17. Now let's turn our attention to the 4-hour chart for gold. After a significant sell-off, gold has managed to stay above the crucial level of 1932.53, indicating upside potential. The target for the upside is set at 1946.63 and 1967.21. On the downside, there is a risk if the price breaks below 1932, with the next support levels identified at 1914 and 1902. Lastly, let's shift our focus to the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. BTC has successfully surged above the resistance at 35,959. As long as we maintain levels above this point, my outlook for BTC remains bullish. On the downside, a break below 35,959 could signal a shift in sentiment. And with that, let's wrap up this video by highlighting key events on the economic calendar. The key events on the calendar for this week in Eastern Time. I'll be focusing on the most crucial ones. Monday, November 13th, 2 p.m., Federal Budget Balance. Tuesday, November 14th, 8:30 a.m., Core CPI. 8:30 a.m., CPI month-over-month. 8:30 a.m., CPI year-over-year. Wednesday, November 15th, 8:30 a.m. Core PPI, month-over-month. 8:30 a.m. Core Retail Sales month-over-month. 8:30 a.m. PPI year-over-year. 8:30 a.m. Retail Sales month-over-month. 10:30 a.m. Crude oil inventories. Thursday, November 16th, 7 to 10 a.m. FOMC member. Bar speaks. 8:30 a.m. Unemployment claims. 8:30 a.m. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. 10:35 a.m. FOMC member bar speaks 4 p.m. TIC long-term purchases. Friday, November 17, 8:30 a.m. Building permits. 8:30 a.m. Housing starts. 9:45 a.m. FOMC member Goolsby speaks. If you found value in this video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.